This thing on? Oh, I left my hat out in the car. I was going to put it on and put it on back.
Did you mean a little room? That's like somewhat. I mean, Jesus. It was Rip Rogers' show, but ain't little room. Shit.
Well, you're just looking so big. You know what the hell, right? In red. You look bigger in red. You
You
know.
don't have to go that far.
Was there profanity in that song? Got your shit closed or something like that?
Yeah. For the last 2.5 years, it's had profanity. In it.
That's.
Yeah. You just figured that out today.
Well, I just heard it for the first time. I'm thinking.
Anybody hear us today before we get started?
Hey, is this thing on? Testing 1, 2, and I'm not supposed to look at you when I'm talking.
You do it the whole time.
The whole time, you know.
Somebody tell me if you can hear us. Audio and video is good. 70QQ. Awesome.
It is good. Let me see. I take the glasses off. Can't see nothing. Got my glasses on. Can't see nothing.
Jack Does Horse says Rip Rogers, the most respected chop in professional wrestling. Wow.
What happened?
I got to read it again. Jack Does Horror says Rip Rogers, the most respected chop in professional wrestling.
I wouldn't agree with that.
How about that?
I'd say Von Lilas is better.
Oh, come on.
I'd say Gunther is almost as good as you.
Gunther.
Now, Danny Davis would chop the shit out of you. Ronnie Garvin would chop the shit out of you. And I learned through getting the shit beat out of me of how to do it safely and how to vary it if I want to hurt you or just want to fuck with you. I guess it was past 30 seconds.
Yeah,
so
you're
I could
fine.
said that. Okay. Got your hat on backwards. You're ready for action. It don't get any better than this. Went into the mini workout at the gym today before I come in.
Why only a mini?
Because I'm going to go train about 5 hours after I leave here.
Mm.
You know,
So why'd you go at all?
because it got me going. It got me thinking about the show and everything.
Oh, yeah. Get your
Yeah.
pump on.
Yeah, I had the pump on.
Speaking of getting us going, Shane Parks, $3 super sticker. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Haven't been here since Christmas Rip, so
I know.
back at it.
We need 8 million questions, I think.
8 million questions.
I'm on fire, written all this stuff. I got to plug everybody. Everybody's wanting this. Oh, get me on the podcast. I can't dive. You know the whole deal. You know
I don't know any of it.
my stepson Dylan Boss's got his big wrestling match this Saturday. Even though he's a rapper, he's a movie star, and a boxer. He trains at Sid's gym in Indy. He's going to be in Columbus, Indiana this Sunday. That's right, at the Bartholomew County Fairgrounds. Starts at 7 p.m. The Big Emerge show. That's Saturday, January 4th, Columbus, Indiana. My stepson, Dylan Bostic, will be there, and there'll probably be about 122 women there just to bring in all of his Christmas presents, Christmas gifts, and stuff like that. As you know, he is quite the ladies' man.
I'd say he's more your just favorite son than stepson. What about that?
No, I ain't gonna buy that at all. You ain't gonna twist my words this or that, because you called him the stepson one time.
Favorite son. He texted me yesterday. He said, "Hey, can you plug this on the show?" I said, "Hey, anything for Rip's favorite son."
Oh,
that was my immediate reply.
And as I got the pictures, I sent the Vince to Prince to put in the new book. It's got the picture when you was a little kid on my shoulders.
Oh, you put that in the book?
Well, I sent it to him. He wanted to get some new pictures.
Oh, so it's not really in the book.
Well, I sent. It's hadn't been done yet.
Mm.
He added about 50, 80 pages or whatever it was, and categorized everything and made some different stuff. I think he's going to do an audio version of it too, and he's got the paperback and the hardcover. So we'll see what happens with that. We're on fire. We're starting on fire on this new year after the big Christmas season. And then, my buddy Rod Brooks, he's like the head trainer at Anytime Fitness. He's the most spoiled man in the world, I call him. I mean, it was just a few weeks ago, it was his birthday, and he got birthday cards for 3 weeks. He got all these presents from all these hot women. And he's a former defensive back in the NFL, played for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's head trainer at the Anytime Fitness on Pendleton Pike in Lawrence, Indiana. first he goes through about a 3-week birthday thing of every day he's laughing at me, making fun of me because he's got all these gifts, all these presents from all these hot women. Then all of a sudden Christmas rolls around. It's the same damn thing. Walking in his office, and there it is, all more of this, more of that, him smiling with the shit-eating grin on his face. Then all of a sudden it's New Year's, and what's he have? All these things, more gifts, more women, more candy. Now he's got to do extra cardio because he's eating so much junk food. And then, but you know what's the bad thing is? Coming up next is Valentine's Day. And he said that's his greatest time of the year is Valentine's Day. So, you know, this is like a one. Well, we should have a 2-man protest because, well, no, you got the world's hottest wife with the 2 little with the daughters that are the Outrunners #1 and #2 fans. Well, I'll acknowledge that. I got a lot of news about the Outrunners and stuff. And anyway, I just started going off and talking.
So is he watching with all the stuff you just said about him? Is he watching?
He'll be
today,
watching
at least?
He'll be watching it on the replay.
Oh well, shit.
Well, he was teaching all these women and putting them through. I call them the slave tactics, you know, of being a man, yelling at the women as they got to work out. The women want to be hot.
I'm trying to get this picture you sent me to be able to load, but you sent it as a HEIC file or something, and
I don't have a clue what that is.
It's not. Let me see if Dylan just sent me one better. Maybe you should get on a roll about something else. Let me see if we got any super chats in here first. I don't want to leave any super chatters out. Let's see who's in here, and then we'll get to your stuff. Shane Parks here from Oregon in green. Bull Diggin from Germany in green. I bet they both go to Dylan's show tomorrow, Saturday. Mike Myers in green from Southern Illinois. He'll be there. Drew Wilson in green.
He might be there.
He's from Indianapolis. He might be there. Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass in green. He'll be at that show tomorrow.
Oh, well, yeah. Frankie will be there.
Just waiting to rip to. George is in the house. Big George and George Jetson from outer space.
Okay, don't get any better than this.
70QQ in the house. Greg Smith in green in the house.
He better be in the house.
He's been around for a long, long time.
I told you I talked to Chris Park or Chris Sharp package, WWE referee. He was sending pictures of him and the body guy and Jamin Olivencia and Michael Hayes. Of course, I sent you the picture, but we probably can't get that in there either.
We'll try to. I'll get it in here. If you could talk and quit just staring at me trying to do this stuff,
I'm not staring at you trying to do it. I
could get this done. Every time I try to do something, you just sit there like this.
No, I haven't done that. No.
You're waiting on
me. I got notes here today for the first time.
I know. God, 2025, we have notes. What a bunch of shit. This show is going to the shitter. We got notes for 2025.
Well, you know, it was just something people could ask questions about, like when I was like when I lived with Randy Savage for how many years, and I was part owner of the ICW with Ronnie Garvin and Randy Orton's dad and Bob Roop and Angelo Ranny and George Weingroff, or like when I was part owner in for 18 years of OBW with Danny and me and Jim Cornette, like when I was a booker in Kansas City and wrestled Bruiser Brody 4 weeks in a row. Like when I was the booker in Kansas City after Brody got killed, and Carlos Colon calls me at home in Seymour, Indiana, said, "Can you come in and help me out with booking?" I said, "Okay." It don't get any better than that. Like when I was talking about when I was running towns, developmental towns for Ole Anderson in TBS, and of course Ole croaked this past year, but I'm near croaking anyway, so what the hell with that? And I was going to talk about how like got pictures where me and you was training Pat Mackey and Turbo of Turbo and Floyd fame of the Outrunners. He was helping train Pat McAfee, or just different shit we've done, you know, where anybody can ask questions about. So the more questions they get, the more they'll know about us, and the more we hopefully will be over like Dylan Bostic, you know, the man, and then the rapper, the movie star, the boxer, you name it. You know, so you're on a roll trying to get the pictures in. So since I messed it all up. So
maybe somebody will ask questions on those. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, because that's, you know.
Or you could just talk about it. There's that one picture.
Yeah, there's Mike Hayes. Now, Mike Hayes fought in Afghanistan.
I think so. I don't know.
Got his leg blown off. And that subbitch was boxing, fighting. He'll fight you for no reason. He got a little bit of Randy Savage in him. He was always mad at the world and talked package on whatever it is on my phone. And Package is a free man now.
Package is a NXT WWE referee currently.
Yeah, and he broke up with one of the other Blossom twin. So now he said he's got a little package club that, you know, he's over. Chris Sharp. And we had the picture of Jamin Olivency and the body guy. That's the most important thing, is the body guy. Of course, he stood up closer to make himself look taller.
Oh, he's the body guy.
Well, he's the body guy, you know.
Jamin, former OVW champion, one of the
great worker, great
wrestler.
Man.
I think he's back like in OVW, right?
I think he is.
I think he is. I haven't talked to you about this. I'm sure you saw. Did you see RIP Rip? Jax Dane, Jeremy Lehman.
Yeah, I did. I got mad about it.
RIP Jax Dane, NWA heavyweight world champion.
Yeah, I remember.
OVW. I was trying to find a video today. I couldn't find it of me and him wrestling at the amateur class, and Jim Cornette was on the commentary.
Oh wow,
Six-man tag.
That'd have been awesome.
He kept calling me Lawless instead of Lilas. And Jeremy Lehman was wrestling as Jeremy Lehman. I'll have to find that video. And yeah, it was pretty good. Liked it.
Yeah, that hit me, and I just said, "Oh man, I was just mad at the world." It seems like the good ones go quickly.
R.I.P. Jax Dane. I know he was all over the internet.
Yeah.
So sad to see. Check out who else we got. Looks like we got some super chats here we got to get to. Drew Wilson, $5 super chat. Let's see if I can get this pulled up here somehow. Man, we got a few I got to get to. Crusher Broomfield story.
Well, let me tell you a Crusher Broomfield story. What happened, Chief Jay Eagle was bringing some guys in from North Carolina to do ICW TV about 1980 or something like that. And and Crusher Broomfield wasn't booked. But he just wanted to go along for the ride. So it was Gary Royal, Ricky Starr, and Chief Jay Eagle, and then on Crusher Broomfield. I guess he couldn't sort of crawl in there. He was so big. But he showed up to TV, and Randy Savage like shit his pants, because here was this guy. He was a lot legit 6'6" and about 480 pounds or something like that. So we advertised him at whatever, 7 foot or whatever, and 500 pounds. But he was a real good wrestler as an independent guy, and he was young, and he had a good run with ICW, and Garvin saw him as a potential star. So he had Ernie Ladd come in and look at him. Ernie Ladd come in and looked at him and immediately got him booked into Louisiana. And he went from Crusher Broomfield to One Man Gang to Panama Gang to I don't know how many different names, and we had him on here about a year ago, and good guy, great wrestler, still lives in Louisiana, and he was always funnier than hell without trying to be. That was the good thing about it.
You got coffee there, Rip. You're not drinking anything.
Well,
it's going to be cold by now.
I got coffee. I got Levon Lila's coffee with the Great Smoky Mountain Cup, and I'll probably burn my mouth here.
Oh, it's cold. Hey, if you've not seen Crusher Broomfield, we've got him on all over the channel. He's been on actually twice. One time we interviewed him for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then the other time he came on the show live, did a live show with us. So that was really cool. Side note, Rip, none of your business in the house today. He says he knows that you're his dad. You owe his mom some child support.
How much do I owe?
I don't know, but
well, send me it.
He's pretty convinced that you're his dad. So.
Is that because he's got cauliflower ears, or he's got an abnormally small penis, or
I don't know, but look at this. Drew Wilson asked about Crusher.
Right up on the rope.
And Rip Rogers' eyes got big as saucers.
This Crusher Broomfield
goes for a body press. Bad move.
And of course, a body slam by Crusher Broomfield, reversing that body press. Of course, Rip.
But
Get out of the
I'm
ring
not,
here.
I'm not
Cry
going to
baby
judge him for
every
that.
Rip Rogers
referee
wouldn't
don't
work
get
on the
any
eye
better
of
than
Crusher
that.
Broomfield. Now, a punch to the
Gorgeous
chest.
upset.
Boom,
Boom.
Left
Boom.
position. Left hand
Boom.
position.
Boom.
Now they're trading.
Okay.
Oh, well, I
look
better
at
lose
you.
this one. I bet.
I'm afraid all
By Rip Rogers after referee Dale Evans untied him in the rope.
Bet he don't go.
Well, that was 2 against 1. Rip Rogers is an opportunist.
Throw him. He was too big. Well, I chopped the shit out of him.
Two chops.
Still don't go.
Big forearm by Crusher
On you.
Broomfield.
I ain't
We-
going.
Let's
Oh,
go to turnbuckle.
I go now. Big
Big
boom.
Here's Rip Rogers from the top. He's on the. Rip Rogers is on the top.
He caught him.
Oh, he caught me.
A bear hug
He's
by
hurt.
Crusher on Rip Rogers right here on the floor in front of the camera.
And eye gout.
Break and come back with more on International Championship Wrestling. Stick around. We'll be back.
Look at you going toe for toe, blow for blow with the Crusher, man.
No, I didn't.
Man, you must have been really tough, Rip.
I think I had a few bruises on my body after that.
Thanks, Drew Wilson. Jack does horror. Rip, sir, how would I go about getting
A signed picture for my daughter. She's 11 and loves old school wrestling. Well, I got some pictures at home, but I didn't bring none with me. We probably got some pictures here, don't we?
Well, I mean, we could use one that you have at home, I guess.
I just got to remember it. Mr. Memory.
I mean, yeah, just email us your email, thelilahstudios@gmail.com. Thelilahstudios@gmail.com. We'll see what we can do. There, Jack does horror.
A whore. Was he talking about?
He also had another question, I think, somewhere. Oh, no, just super sticker
Oh,
there.
Jack does horror. Oh, okay.
$1.99 super sticker there.
The $1.99 super sticker, baby. Don't get any better than that.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Look at this. Let's see. I'm just going to go ahead.
Just go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and show them.
Bang, bang.
Well, bang, bang.
See? Bang, bang.
Rogers is literally scraping for his. Oh my goodness. He missed. And that may have turned the tide of this match here, Jeff.
Speaking of legends,
Yeah.
that
The Regal's
move right
bad
there,
going.
not the leg drop there, but the bounce off the rope, the legendary.
This is the Body
That's a
Ventura
move he
doing
made
color
famous.
commentating.
The legend.
Rip Rogers
There's Nick Patrick.
got a foot to the
Uh-oh,
face.
watch
He may
the
be moving
throat.
throat right here. That's exactly what he's trying to do. Oh, did he?
Oh!
Oh, he booted me right in the
outcome.
face. What an
I kind of see
asshole.
for that one. The leg drop on the head.
Oh, I hurt his butt.
No give right there. Or at least
Gonna go to the floor. Oh, now they're not going to the floor anymore.
double arm suplex. Face first. 1, 2.
You had him right until the end, Rip.
I did. Well, that was
Right to the last
that was
3
the first
seconds.
match I ever lost on TV. I think. Bullshit.
Man, had him right until the end.
I think I slipped on a banana peel.
Don't get no better than that. So that was Saturday night's main event, man.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Jack Does Horse said, I found your channel because of Mike Bucci. Isn't he the one that fired you, Rip?
Yeah. He fired me as I was driving over the certain part of the road around by my house, and he's almost crying on the phone, apologizing for it.
Hey, Jack, we did interview Mike Bucci, a.k.a. Simon Dean, a.k.a. Nova, right here on this channel. You got to go check it out, a whole interview where he was on here. Frank says, Rip ever work with J.W. Snake, Ma'am Hawk in West Virginia?
J.W.
J.W. Snake, Ma'am Hawk
I don't know who that is.
in West Virginia.
I worked in West Virginia towns for Ole and for ICW, but that's about it, I'm thinking.
I don't know who you meant there, Frank. Let's see. I would watch when Axel Dieter Jr. turns on Gunther.
Axel Dieter was a big star in Germany.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, I didn't know what he was talking about.
years and years ago.
When did you first meet the Freebird? Shane Parks in Green wants to know. And who was the better worker of the three?
Oh, my gosh. Good questions, and I'll give you some good answers. I met him in working for Nick Goulas in 1978. It was just Terry and Michael then. So Terry was like a killer in the ring, and he was just great. Michael Hayes, if he was a baby face, you loved him. And if you was a heel, you hated him. He couldn't wrestle a lick, but he knew how to get over, and he was just controversial as hell. Love him or hate him, he was great in that ring. But Buddy Roberts, he was the worker of the three. He was the real quarterback in there. That's why it would be in the matches when they had the Freebird rule. Michael would always be on the outside, because if they was heels, he'd get them people ready to riot. And if they were working babyface, all of a sudden you loved the team. And Buddy was just such a great technician and a great seller for the team to give Terry the big comeback. And Mike was head cheerleader.
Did you say when you met him?
Yeah, 1978 for Nick Goulas.
There, look at that. I got it pulled up.
Yeah, there he is.
There, now you can.
There's Dylan Bostic's big show this Saturday night at the Columbus, Indiana, Bartholomew County Fairgrounds. Starts at 7 o'clock. The big main event is Paragon versus Dylan Bostic.
The preppiest wrestler alive.
The rapper, the movie star.
Turtleneck wearing.
Uh-huh.
Pretty boy.
I think
Pretty boy Dylan Bostic. That's what he ought to be called.
He shaved his head a little bit at the top to make him look more mature. Just like I do, and Donald Trump did.
William Lynn says, none of your business says, Rip's been banging my mom for years.
I have. Who was she? What color was she?
After Bob Roop outed your debauchery, do you have any stories of uncensored Roop?
Uncensored Roop debauchery. What's that mean?
Well, he told that story about you we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I don't really.
The Miser. Do you have any stories on Roop?
Not as exciting as that one. As a matter of fact, when he told that one, or I found out about it, I think he sort of dustied it, because I don't remember that. And I would have done it in front of Lanny. It wouldn't have been in front of the Miser. The Miser would have pulled over and puked, I'm thinking. Miser had the turkey gobbler, had the extra foreskin and everything. So I'd always when we were in the shower, I was reminding that he was healthy, but he had the extra foreskin. So I didn't know if that was a plus or minus in those days. Not a bad answer, eh?
Let's see what else we got here. Do you know why Charlie Platt hates Austin Idol? Alfred Allen in the house. Might be a new listener. Welcome to the show, Alfred.
I didn't know Charlie hated anybody. Let's just say the Idol was the Idol. He was a little bit arrogant, and he actually lived, and he was from the Tampa area, but then he moved to Pensacola. So he was sort of like a demigod in the Pensacola territory. And he might have ribbed Charlie or whatever, or showed up late, this or that. But Charlie was, he was pretty much the head guy down there for Ron Fuller. And Charlie's a good guy, Charlie Platt.
Doug Tate, Seymour legend in the house. Love the show, fellas. Best part of Friday. Doug Tate, Seymour, Indiana, Rip.
I wonder if Doug Tate's related to one of the Tate brothers.
Well, I mean,
he might be a multi-millionaire, billionaire.
Oh, those Tate brothers.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. He's from Seymour, Rip.
Well, it might have had just something, took a wrong turn somewhere, like my grandpa did, and he was going out to California and ran out of gas at Seymour and went the wrong way and started Shira Cleaners, founded in 1900 and something in downtown Seymour, Indiana. You know, and great grandpa, he was over almost as much as the king.
I'm guessing no. Big George says, is it true that you were in the Jimmy Valiant fan club?
Yes, I was in the Jimmy Valiant fan club. I used to have the Jimmy Valiant card, and the president, I think, was Marianne Nitzdale or something like that. She was just a heavy-set woman wrestling fan, but I was a member of the handsome Jimmy Valiant fan club. But like we was wrestling in Scottsburg, said, Marcus, baby, no violence, no violence. It's like, hit him in the head with a garbage can, and he just dropped and started going, imagine that.
Stephen Keys reminds us that also Sweet Daddy Siki passed away.
Oh, Sweet Daddy Siki.
Any stories on him?
He was just, you'd always see him in the magazines, and I never actually heard him talk until this week. Because a lot of the guys that I used to want to know about, I didn't want to see him. It's like I didn't want to meet him because you were always disappointed. Because I know, like, if some kid meets me, he's eternally disappointed. So what the hell, right?
No, I don't always buy that. You know. So did you know him at all?
No, I didn't know. I just knew who he was. And Ron Hutchison, the sensational and intelligent Mass Thunderbolt. He was from Toronto, and he was a big buddy of Siki, and I don't know if he was ribbed me or not, but he told me he helped train him.
Who else we got in here? Shane. Bull digging. I like it when Rip uses that Dusty voice when it comes to Super Chat. Reminds me of Marty Jannetty's story. Dusty telling him on a WWF airplane, "I once got money, but I pissed it all away, Daddy."
I once got money, but I pissed it all away. Yes, that happens all the time.
Here's the machine. Any George Weingroff stories?
Oh, George is a business partner. George was a teammate of Pistol Pez Watley, who was best man at my first wedding. And
Pez was?
Yeah.
Man, where'd you get married?
I can't remember. I've been married.
I don't believe that for a second.
No, I don't. I've been married twice, and I never bought a ring, and I never arranged nothing. They just.
But I mean, you don't remember where it was.
I don't remember where it was.
Even what city?
No. It must have been in Lexington because I lived there, and Pez lived there. This was when he was with ICW, so it must have been there.
Pez was the best man, huh?
Yeah, but anyway, what I was getting at, we was talking about George Weingroff. Where George, before George was the son of the legendary Gentleman Saul Weingroff, who was manager for Nick Goulas for I don't know how many years, and always the manager of the Curtain Call, the Von Brauners. Von Brauners, they traveled everywhere, and he was always with them. And George was actually the wrestling coach at the Indiana School for the Blind. And he was a teammate of Pistol Pez Watley at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And Pez was the heavyweight wrestler. And Pez was the first black heavyweight champion in the state of Tennessee. And George was his teammate. So George's dad trained Pez. But yeah, Pez was the heavyweight, and George was like, I can't remember if it was 189 or 185 at that time, because we're going back 50 years.
None of your business who claims his dad is from West Virginia.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of this hot girl I went out with the first time I wrestled in Oak Hill, West Virginia at the bowling alley there with Warren Schirmbeck and Shirley Love on the TV there, and the Batten twins were they wrestled each other, and they were both they were both wore masks, and I didn't know they were twins, and they wrestled each other, and he just beat the shit out of each other. That's where I met the legendary B.B. Coleman. I watched him putting razor blades on his fingers where he's going to cut some guy up. Oh, I was scared goddamn shitless, but I got my Steve Cooper got me in there. We got our $25, and we had memories for a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen.
How did from William Lynn, who is in green, how did your Japan payoffs compare to working in the U.S.?
Oh, Japan was so much hell. The last night, Baba gave me a $2,000 bonus for having his last singles match he ever had. So that was guys would just go to Japan. That's where Brody made all his money, just working in Japan. And years ago, Japan was Japan. Japan ain't Japan anymore because Inoki died of New Japan, and Baba of All Japan, he died. And now it's like American Wrestler, where you have corporate takeovers and non-wrestling people running it now. So it's not as good as it used to be, but wrestling always goes up and down in cycles. You know how it is.
Shane Parks wants to know if I ever won a battle royal. And what do I think of them? Well, I think
you had to win one in Muncie, didn't you?
I think they're great because they're easy. As a
Well,
matter of fact,
you just beat everybody up in the battle royals.
I'm going to show just a little bit of this. See, look at that. We got questions that lead right into these videos I uploaded today.
There's old John Cena.
John Cena, Flash Flanagan, Sean O'Hare.
This is at Muncie, isn't it?
Danny Basham.
Yeah, the Damager.
Mark Jindrak.
Yeah.
Running back. There's Cage, Caitlin Croft. Joan Benjamin.
Yeah. All right.
Eugene. Rob Conway. David Flair. His last match ever against me. And guess who won this thing, Rip?
I bet it was you. If I was a betting man, I'd have bet on you.
We're not going to watch the ending, but what? It is Cousin Crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cousin Crazy at the box.
And there's Dr. Tom. And look at this. The winner of the Battle Royal, I'm going to spoil alert, not make you watch it all. Look at Cena wants a piece of me, and Damage it gets him out of the way and says, no, I got him.
No, I got him there.
Watch. Go here in a second. There's Briscoe, the referee.
They're all wanting to get in with the local guy. They're all wanting to beat up the athletic.
Yeah,
school
Cena
teacher.
coming after me right there.
Yeah, they're all after you.
Damage says, no, I got him. I won him.
I got them, baby.
I won that Battle Royal there, Shane Parks. Believe it or not. Victory over John Cena. Also won a Battle Royal at OVW. It was 30-man, like a Royal Rumble thing. I was the first one out. The winner was supposed to get to wrestle JBL, and I was scared to death. And I won. I was like, I don't want to win this. First one out. I was coming off a knee injury. Hadn't wrestled for like a month and a half. I get in this Royal Rumble, Nightmare Royal Rumble, first one in. What a rib. I know it was you guys just ribbing me, making me go the whole 60 minutes and then supposed to wrestle JBL. And then when he showed up that night, WWE, supposedly, according to Danny, pulled the plug and wouldn't let him wrestle. I don't know if that's true or not, but he was there. Instead, he came out. I had to wrestle APOC, and then he bought us beer after the show, and we hung out in Danny's office and drank a couple cases of beer.
JBL was probably drunk.
I don't think he was drunk before, but
on his way.
But all the horror stories I heard, he was cool as shit.
Yeah,
Sat back there and drank beer and hung out.
Yeah, I met him in Global, and he was just funnier than fuck.
So I liked it.
He's always been over with me.
What was the Yellow Dog angle with Pillman in WCW? Do you remember why he was Yellow Dog?
He wrestled under the hood, and then since I sort of had a body type sort of like his, I wrestled as the Yellow Dog, and somebody pulled the hood off of it. It was me, and
really?
Yeah, it was all. I don't have it on tape or anything, but it was confused. They kept saying it was Brian Pillman.
And then
it was Brian Pillman. And I think he walked out there, and I said, "What the hell?" The guy, boom, and he pulled it off of me. It was me.
Was that the end of the storyline, or
no? I have no idea. I just remember I'm just doing as I was told.
Wow.
Hey, you're the Yellow Dog tonight. Oh, okay. Oh, I had to drive. I think it was I had to drive to Dover, Delaware, like 804 miles straight through
to be the Yellow Dog.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who went with me. I can remember Steel Man, but I drove all the way there, and he drove all the way back. It was 804 miles from Indianapolis or something like that.
Big George wants to know, what was your dispute with the Poffos when you left ICW?
Oh, that's a personal question, George. How many times have you been married? I didn't get into your marital affairs. How's that?
Guess George better send a $20 payment to your PayPal to answer that question.
Yeah, then I'll tell him it on the side, all the dirt. as James E. Barnett would say, any dirt.
He'll email you the answer, George. Let's see. What else do we have here? I thought I had another. None of your business wants to know, how hard were the WCW rings in 91 and 92? Were they hard rings, Rip?
No, they were just normal name. But the best rings ever was when you went to Japan and worked.
Really? I figured they'd be really hard.
No, they were. No, you would. No matter how hard you attacked that ring, you didn't feel anything.
Really?
Yeah. Now I've been in some shitty rings, with boxing rings with 4 ropes and just with no give at all. Sometimes they were rope. Sometimes there would be a cable, then there would be a rope, then there would be a wire. There might be one missing. So I've been in some. The most important thing is as soon as you get in that ring, some rings I've been as little as 14-foot rings in England and 24-foot boxing rings with 4 ropes. So when you're a pro, you get in there and check all those ropes. You check for holes in the cracks in the wood and stuff like that underneath, because you could tear your leg up, and a ref should tell you right away. And the boys tell each other, well, there's a bad board over here. There's wire sticking out of a turnbuckle or whatever like that. So you can get hurt bad with that stuff. So always check your ring out when you're in there.
Best ring I ever was in by far was a WWE ring. Middle of a WWE ring was soft.
Yeah, that's where you're supposed to be.
Dave's channel said he found at Kentuckiana Classics is a channel on YouTube that has a ton of OVW Rip Rogers matches. Finally found a channel with it all. So a bunch of Rip Rogers classics from OVW on the at Kentuckiana Classics channel.
Don't get any better than that.
Maybe I'll steal them and put them on our channel.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'm all for that.
Frank wants to know if you ever banged a bodybuilder girl.
I was going to say, if I've ever banged a bodybuilder, I'd say, well, if I did, kayfabe that. Bodybuilder, well, let's just say yes. That was what guy wouldn't want to bang bodybuilder girls, especially when they got the phony titties and whatever, and they got the abs, and you're grabbing, you're comparing biceps with her, and usually they'd be on the gas and I wouldn't be, and their bean would be bigger than my snabbits down there. So what the hell, right?
Interesting.
Piss flaps dragging the ground.
Great question there, Frank. Thanks a lot again for your
you know
wrestling questions, sex questions. Always count on Frank. Rip, did you ever tomcat around Martinsville, Indiana? My old lady's mom thinks she knows you from somewhere. Maybe you slapped her around or rutted a bit.
I don't.
Martinsville. You got any kids out of Martinsville, Rip?
No, but I hate Martinsville.
Oh, wow.
No, wait a minute, because now just think, it's my senior year. We're undefeated. We're 4-0. This guy named, I think it was Jim Teeters, he clipped me from behind, rolled and hurt my Achilles tendon. So the next week I had to sit out. And then the rest of the year, I just limped my senior year in high school. What a motherfucking asshole. Fuck Jim Teeters from fucking Martinsville. I hated Martinsville with a passion anyway. That was where Daryl Hacker was from.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Shane Parks in Green says, ever work with Pat Patterson or Ray Stevens?
I wish I did work with Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens, but I was too young. When I met them, they were Pat Patterson was working for WWE. He was a great worker, and Ray Stevens was the best worker with Buddy Rogers in the 60s. But everybody copied Pat Patterson. He was so good. And Ray Stevens. They were the blonde bombers.
We got to get down here, John Tucker in Green and Super Chatting, so we got to get down to Super Chat. What was your favorite thing about Ox Baker?
Well, first of all, he'd paint his toenails red, right? And then where he lived in Coal Camp, Missouri, which he said it was Sedalia, but it was really Coal Camp. There was three identical houses in a row. It was like Oxy and his wife, and then like his sister, and then his mother, or whatever it was. It was three identical, all Bakers, three identical houses in a row. It was either in Sedalia, but he said it was Coal Camp or vice versa, what it was. But Foxy Oxy, yeah, I worked with 4 weeks. Foxy Oxy used to ride in the van with me. I remember the thing where Ronnie Garvin hit him and he lost his teeth, and Garvin smashed his teeth and broke his plate on television. So that was cool. But Foxy Oxy, what a great talker. And I worked 4 weeks in a row with Ox Baker in Kansas City when I was a booker there, and drew more money with Ox Baker than I did with Bruiser Brody. Because Ox Baker was humble. He could get him in there, and Oxy knew he was limited, and you'd tell him what to do and he'd do it. Where Brody was his own man. He was a character. Let's just put it that way. In it because he had gotten real sick and had lost like 30 pounds. He was supposed to come in a couple months earlier, but he was sick. He was from Robbinsdale. I think he went to school with Kurt Hennig, and all them guys were buddies. Nikita Koloff, and they were all trained by the great Eddie Sharkey. He trained the Road Warriors. He trained Rick Rude. He trained Nikita Koloff. I think he trained Kurt Hennig. Of course, Kurt Hennig's dad did most of that, but those are all the guys that were out of Minnesota.
Well, surely he hadn't been wrestling too long. I watched that match.
No, I'd seen him
that.
on Atlanta earlier.
Before that?
Yes, before that. And he was a little bit bigger, but when I saw him there, he was a tall guy.
I'm just talking about his
he got real sick and lost
greenness. I'm not talking about his look. I'm talking about his work in the ring.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to remember, you break in the wrestling business and you do nothing but use for meat on TV or whatever. And if you work 6 times a month, that was great. And he wanted to get into Mid-South so he could work every day because he was really green when he was there.
But he beat you, Rip.
Well, he sure did. It was because I'd had because my hair was black.
I'd say
that was it.
I didn't like that look. I like the blonde look much.
Well,
much
I had
better.
I had my head shaved in ICW in the Eye of the Tiger match, and then I just let it grow out and got healthy and everything. And then when I left there and went to work for Fuller's, I bleached my hair blonde again.
Did they tell you in Mid-South not to bleach it blonde?
But I talked to Watts about it. He said, no, since you're going to work underneath, just he paid me like I was semi-main event. I made more money there than most of the guys, but I just shut up and made the money. He didn't have to fucking gaff or anything. You just have wrestling matches. So that was good. Because in Watts's territory, you did so many miles. You worked sometimes 10 times a week, and you'd be going for Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, you name it, and you did more miles than a truck driver. And a lot of them were on 2-lane highways.
So how long were you there?
Like 5 months.
Because I just listened to not all of it, but Cornette does he wrote everything down that he ever did.
Yeah.
So he went over his schedule in Mid-South in I don't know, 1983, let's say.
Yeah, he come in right after when I left.
But the amount of miles, and he said the same thing, 2-lane highways and the amount of miles that they drove. He said he said he made a lot of money, so he never wanted to ask for time off.
Right.
But people just went insane because it was 7 days a week and crazy travel.
Yeah, usually you work 2 times at the Irish McNeil Boys Club in Bossier City, which is right outside of Shreveport. And then you would go usually a double shot on Saturday and Sunday. So you'd make a whole lot of fucking money, but a lot of them were you drove what a truck driver drove.
Yeah, he said,
and then you're going to the gym too, and then you're wrestling. So it was a 24-hour day job, but it was a labor of love too. So what the hell?
He's working in the factory.
Yeah, it sure does.
You mentioned the Eye of the Tiger match.
The winner of the Eye of the Tiger is going to get the ultimate challenge. Yeah, got a special announcement. The Macho Man Randy Savage got a special announcement to the winner of the Eye of the Tiger. And I don't care if it's Rip Rogers. I don't care if it's you, Leaping Lanny, because I'm taking care of number 1. I'm the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I've done a lot in my career. And guaranteed personified Radamias is not going to stop me in the steel cage. I'm going to get his reputation, and then I'm going to make the announcement that just shakes the world. That's what I'm going to do. Rogers or Lanny, it doesn't matter.
How was that?
Leaping Lanny, not only is he in the Eye of the Tiger match, but he's also the announcer, it looks like. The interviewer.
and that we left the studio, Channel 36, bought our own cameras, and that was in me and Randy's living room.
That promo, right? Or
Yes,
that interview
uh-huh.
right there was?
And we had the thing there, and that was us clapping. Or
Are you
booing.
serious?
Oh yeah, it cost no money to do that.
That's awesome.
And we was spending $1,000 a week in just production there. Where Miser just said, "Well, we'll poop on them." They raised the rates. He just bought a $30,000 camera, and we did it ourselves.
Hey, we got a $5 super chat.
All
from
right.
Sergeant Mitch. Sarge might be new to the show. Do you know Sergeant Mitch, Rip?
I don't know. I can't even see it.
Well, it looks like he was really, maybe if that's really his picture. Thank you for
Okay.
your service, it looks like. Sorry I'm late, and you probably already answered this. But since Mr. Street is gone and you
Adrian.
wrestled the beauty, what was it like, and was he a good worker? $5 super chat, Rip. Give us a little Adrian Street. Hey, Sergeant Mitch, we got 2 Adrian Street and Rip Rogers matches on this channel. You got to go check them out.
Okay. I worked with Adrian Street for 26 weeks in a row, except for like
Tell the Sarge.
3 spot shows. And we did about everything there was. We just called it on the fly in the ring, and we would do some suggestions, and I'd say, okay, I'll call it. Okay. He'd say, yeah. If, as I said, for something you're uncomfortable with, we'll just change it. But everything was called in the ring. After I got done working with Adrian Street, I just left Continental because I couldn't follow it. It was the best. It was the best program I'd ever worked with anybody, with no egos involved. He would say, "Oh, I need to lose tonight." I said, "Yeah, okay. You want to do this or that?" And he'd make a suggestion because Adrian was older than me, and he had been in the wrestling business since he was a teenager. So I'm going to defer to him on anything because he was just so good. Then he had his wife Linda; she would get involved, and I had Brenda. So we did everything known to man. And and I said, well, I told Fuller. He says, well, let's do. I said, no, I'm getting out of here. He said, what? I said, I got to get the hell out of here, Ron. I'm not going to top that, and I'm going to be disappointed. And I want to go as many of these territories as I can. And because I want to meet more people. I want to see different angles that people do. I want to see what I can learn of what to do or what not to do in these other places. So I worked with you 11 months the first time in Southeastern in Pensacola, and this one was when we were living in Birmingham. And it had moved up north some. So had what a great time working with Adrian Street. And Adrian told me it was the best program he'd ever worked in the United States. He didn't say the world, but he said United States. I said, thank you very much. So that's that.
Thank you, Sergeant Mitch. $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Mike Myers in green said he never anticipated a wrestling match more than the Eye of the Tiger match, Rip.
Well, we had a date, and the thing about it was the two main events. It was me against Lanny and Randy against Radamias. And Randy worked babyface, and Radamias won, and Randy gaffed. And you talk about people, they went from hating him to just fucking loving fucking Randy because he just put Radamias over big time. But in the big show, which is at Rupp Arena, is the only show my mother ever went to. She watched me lose and get my head shaved.
It's awesome.
But see what you do. See, we had the heat thing, and then the people left happy when I got my head shaved.
Ever worked Mike George? Yeah, we got a video of Mike George on here. Shane Parks, check out the channel. We got, just go in the search bar, Rip Rogers versus Mike George. I believe there's a match or two with them on our channel.
Yeah, I worked with Mike in regular matches, and then I worked with him when I was working with Bob Geigel. After I worked with Oxen, Bob Geigel said, this is when I was the booker in Kansas City, because Harley Race wasn't there anymore, and Pat O'Connor, he wasn't anymore. So Geigel had me booking the stuff. So I was working with Brody, and then I worked with Brody 4 weeks, to Ox 4 times. And then Geigel said, I can't take it. He says, Ox can't do anything. I said he's doing the best he can, and he's drawn, and that's all that matters because the checks weren't bouncing anymore. So I started working with the Geigel. So I was working with the Geigel, and he was going over the top rope, and he was 63 years old at the time. You could do anything. You could hit him as hard as you wanted. He wasn't going to bitch. And I had fun working with him, but then Brenda sprayed some stuff in Bob's eyes. So he rolls out of the ring, and then Mike George hits a ring, and I hit on and go. And me and Mike George started a program from there. So it's just one continuous thing after another. But Mike George, he was a good worker.
Big George wants to know the stipulation of the Eye of the Tiger match. Head shaved, right?
Yeah.
Cage match.
Yeah, cage match. Head and I got my head shaved. And
Cage match, loser gets their head shaved.
Yeah, and then that was when after I left ICW, I just let my hair grow out and was working for Bill Watts. And when I left Watts and went back to Pensacola for Ron Fuller and was there 11 months, I bleached my hair blonde again.
Terrible footage, but I found this clip I got to just show here real quick. I think and the time I put Rip for good.
Well, that's when
you see you hold that shoulder when you got up from the pinfall there, Rip?
Oh, that was when you chopped me and I got tied. You hit me so hard I got tied in the ropes and I ripped my
well, I'd like to say I just ripped your shoulder right out of socket. I mean, that was
torn rotary.
Yeah, I just took it and ripped it right out.
So I had to get it fixed, and then it retore again, and it's been tore ever since then.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I've got 1, 2, 3 victory over Rip Rogers on film. Even though it's staticky, sounds terrible. Can't get that static out of there to save my life. I
don't have any matches of Clint Von Dilligan. I mean Von Lilas losing any kind of match.
I don't think I've ever lost.
You're undefeated.
I don't think I've ever lost.
You're just like the dream, baby.
Urias Tosh said, "I need some Blue Chew." I don't know what that means. Blue Chew's boner pills. I don't know if he's trying to have sex with me or what he's trying to do here. Trying to feed me some. Maybe it's a female. I don't know. Wants me to eat some Blue Chew apparently. You got any Blue Chew, Rip?
No, I don't have any.
No,
just give me an 18-year-old hand that's not heavy, and
you don't need Blue Chew.
And I don't need no blue pill or Blue Chew, whatever it's called.
Hey Rip, did Adrian give you any albums of his original music? Did you listen to any? Was he a musician?
Oh yeah, he used to do shows in Birmingham. It was like the Adrian Street show, and he had at least one album out, maybe two, and he would sing all of his. I think he would lip sing it in the performance and everything, and he would dance. And all the wrestling fans would go just to see him perform. When he was a heel, they hated that son of a bitch, but then as soon as he turned good guy, oh, they loved that motherfucker.
Sergeant Mitch, $10 super chat.
All right.
Welcome to the channel again. Sergeant Mitch. Growing up in Jackson County. Is that Indiana, like Seymour?
Must be.
I always wonder why you never wrestled in the local circuit.
There was never a local
Was that something you was never interested in?
There wasn't no local circuit.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
See, a local circuit would have been like the Memphis territory where you're in Louisville every Tuesday and Evansville every Wednesday and stuff like that. Dick the Bruiser ran a territory of nothing but spot shows. So he would run Indianapolis, Fort Wayne pretty much once a month, and he might run 3 other towns a month because he was so lazy, because he was a business partner with Vern Gagne in Chicago, so he made money with that. Then he was highly figured in the great in St. Louis with Sam Muchstick, and he always used Bruiser every second or third. He never missed 3 shows in a row or anything. So Bruiser was rich, and then he just liked to goof off and everything and have a good time. But I ain't mad at him, that's for sure.
So Jackson County, I'm assuming you mean the Seymour, Indiana area. I could be wrong, but If you are, Rip did do shows. I don't know how old you are, but Rip did come to Seymour and do shows.
We did
occasionally.
We did 3 shows in a row, did 1,000 people
At the high school, at the Armory. Also, if you're talking locally, because I used to think like Memphis wrestling, I used to think it was local because I could see it on TV.
right.
So if you're talking about that, possibly, then he was there occasionally as well. But I'd say Rip, based on what he said on this channel, he just always liked to travel and be in different territories. And you didn't really want to be home, right, Rip?
Well, no, I didn't want to be home. I wanted to see the world because I got at the time there was all these wrestling magazines, and I'd see all these stars traveling all over the place and all the 23 territories that they had in the United States and Canada and Puerto Rico. And you're going, oh man, there's wrestling everywhere. Wow, this is just awesome. And I wanted to get the hell out of Seymour and experience its stuff. And then after you've done what you want to do, then it's time to go back home because if your car breaks down, you know where to go to. If you want to get your hair cut, you know where to go. If you grew up in Emmanuel Lutheran or St. Ambrose or the Boys Club or whatever, you knew people from there. And it's like in the hometown, there ain't nothing better than going to Larison's Diner in Seymour and get the old hamburger, French fries, and a Coke or a Big Red.
Big Red, baby.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Sergeant Mitch. Appreciate that. Hey, shit. We'll just make this the Sergeant Mitch show. We got another one here, $10.
I'm 46, and
let's just change his name to
Wrestling with
Sergeant Rip
Mitch.
Rogers and Sergeant Mitch.
Okay.
46. I never seen him when I was young. Just loved to have seen him live. 46. I'm 51. So yeah, you would have had the chance to see him at least a couple times in Seymour, because I was probably teenager to ish. I know for at least one of those shows.
But you're the only kid that I ever had on my neck, and
well, yeah. When I was 4, he wasn't alive then. But and then when you were in OVW, I mean, that's was right down the road in Jeffersonville.
Mm-hmm.
Check out our channel, Mitch. I don't know if you've looked, a bunch of old matches of Rip on there. So I know you never saw him live, but we've got a bunch of stuff on there. Or YouTube's got some cool WCW stuff that I can't really put on here. What else we got? Vaughn, thank you. Get so tired of hearing old wrestlers complain about the miles they drove. Corny complains about a 6-hour trip, 20-minute match, making $300K today's money. Yeah, I mean, I guess some complain. I don't know if Cornette was totally complaining. He was just more stating facts. I don't think Rip's ever really complained, because everything I've heard, Rip just would rather do that than have a real job.
No, hey, being in the wrestling business is like Christmas every day. You're doing what the hell you want to. So if you can get up and eat right and train like a bastard, you're completely pumped. Then you go out there and make your trip. You might have, that's why I was telling Vaughn Lilas earlier, talking about when we had to go to Dover, Delaware, where I was the yellow dog, 804 miles from Seymour, Indiana, whatever it was. And I went there with a smile on my face because Ole said, hey, this is late notice. Can you make it? I said, yeah. He said, you want a plane ticket? I said, oh, no, I'll drive it. And he says, you know how far that is? I said, well, I'll get a map and look at it. Then whatever it is, I'll just leave earlier. Because I don't want to, because this is when Ole was the boss of Championship Wrestling from Georgia. And it was his money. So I said, I'm not going to charge you for a plane ticket. I'll just gut it out. And then you owe me shit. And he just laughed. He loved that.
I think I would have taken the plane ticket, Rip.
but I looked at everything as an adventure.
Yeah, well, that one.
Yeah, of just fucking doing it. And then I got home and I said, I made that fucking motherfucker. It's like when I did all those knee pull-ins and all those squat. And when I started, I said, I'm lucky to do 50. Now all of a sudden I'm doing 5,000 in a row. And fuck all you motherfuckers. Excuse me, but what the fuck, right? Hey, it is Rip. It is Ask Rip Rogers Live.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the name of the show.
Okay.
William Lee, and I can't remember the name. Is it Sedalia?
Sedalia, Missouri.
Sedalia. Were Sedalia and St. Joseph still regular towns when you worked Central States? As I studied the results from my childhood, I'm surprised they ran Sedalia weekly, but Des Moines only a time or two a month. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah,
or-
no, Sedalia was a spot show.
Oh, it was?
No, you ran Kansas City weekly. You ran usually St. Joe weekly. You was in Wichita usually weekly. Des Moines was, I think, every 2 weeks. And then some other stuff, you would have different TVs that would come and go. But you had the Kansas City had that shitty TV time slot. It played like Sunday morning at 8 a.m. But the station it was on, and it carried like 4 other wrestling programs. One of them was Memphis, and I can't remember, but they had a block from like 8 to noon on Sunday, I think it was, because I used to watch it all Sunday morning.
Wrestling for Life, dude. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you're new to the channel. I don't remember that name. Love to hear old stories. Much love.
Well, I'm old, so you'll get nothing but old stories.
Any Luke or Butch stories?
Oh, my
Shane
God.
Park wants to know.
Brutal Bob the Chess Miller and Sweet William. Lukey. Lukey still lives down in Indian Rock, down where Bruiser used to live. Lukey's still around. I'll see him at conventions every once in a while. Butch, Brutal Bob the Chess Miller. I met them in Oregon. Buddy Rose was wrestling in Hawaii. He discovered them. He got them booked for Don Owen. So mostly every trip when I was working for Portland and Don Owen, it was me and Buddy in the Bushwhackers in the Bushwhacker Mobile. And Butch would be having the Bob Hope, the dope, after the matches, of course. and he'd be going and singing. So, and then when me and Buddy worked against the Sheepherders, we actually had 3 dressing rooms. They had the baby faces, the heel, and the Bushwhackers. They were heels against everybody else, but they were baby faces against me and Buddy. So that was funnier than hell. That was awesome. And I just shut up because they had been all over the world. They had that goddamn accent. When we lived at the Bomber Hotel in Milwaukee, Oregon, they stayed 2 doors down from me. So Butch was always cooking the big old thick steaks and always giving them to me for free. So I love that.
Got to get to the super chat. Super chats always take precedence on this show in case you guys haven't figured that out. And then people in green, I try to get to you and try to get to everybody, but sometimes I can't. So super chats always stick out. Green sticks out. John Tucker in green and a super chatter rip. Does comedy make money in wrestling? Some say no.
Well, some say no that don't know. If you go out there and have 3 tag team matches in a row, you're sick of tag team matches. If you go out there and have 3 blood and gut matches, what you want to do is you want a technical match, a comedy match, a girls match, a midgets. You want all this stuff that's different because you don't want steak every day or you get tired of steak. But there's nothing like when the main event rolls around, you want to have the shittiest match in the world before the main event. So then the main event, oh my God, what a main event that was. Because the match before that was shitty. But does comedy make money? You're damn right it does. A lot of guys, after they learn the business, they learn that they've taken all these stupid, crazy bumps for years and they can hardly move. And now all of a sudden they're doing a comedy act and they're not even leaving their feet and everybody's having a great time. So does comedy make money in goddamn wrestling? You're damn right it does.
I mean, Santino had what, a 10-year run?
Oh,
doing nothing but comedy?
Yeah. And it was by necessity. That was Mick Foley when he did the Mandible Claw, because he about killed himself with that other stuff. So Mick started doing a lot of comedy in the house show, not on TV so much, but in the house shows. Funny does draw money.
I like it. There was one more thing I wanted to show. I did one last video I have here, Rip. Did a little editing, got a little closer up.
There's the Outrunners.
I wish he knew how to sell. Look, I wish he could just sell it all.
Well, I think you hit him so hard he couldn't. Oh fuck! Once you hit somebody with a chop like that, it hurts so much. Oh, God. Damn. You hit Dusty Rhodes like that. You be in the ring by yourself, son. My half is out of here. Don't you dare hit the dream like that.
Drew Wilson in green and a $5 super chat. Rip, in your opinion, who was the top little guy in your day?
I love Little Tokyo. Little Tokyo, no matter what. Tokyo, how was your match? He had the gimmick TV go. And he was like blind, so he always have his glasses on. He'd take them off, and he'd go. He's always reading the newspaper before the match. How was your match? He'd look at me. He'd go, fantastic. Little Tokyo, ladies and gentlemen. It don't get any better than that.
Give us some other ones. You got any other ones?
Sky Lolo. Little Farmer John. The Little Road Warrior. I like Danny. Little Road Warrior. As we was going on.
So we know.
Okay.
Drew Wilson, thanks for the $5. $5. You've told that story too many times on this show.
Well, somebody hadn't heard. They'd always get
Let's see what else we got here. Do you know Jason Duhamel, Rip?
Yeah, Jason Duhamel. Yeah.
Says Mark.
Yeah.
He's calling you Mark.
Yeah, he works out at Amazon with me.
Oh, Mark, my
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Hope
yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
well. He said he just listened to the story of you and the Samoans picking up a hitchhiker.
Oh, okay.
Good story. George Jessen in the house said he saw you in Prince Edward Island in 1997, Rip.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's probably. I know Edge was with me. Christian was with me. Bad News Brown, Bad News Allen was with me. Scott D'Amore was there. All the top stars.
Rumor has it Scott D'Amore just got hired from WWE to book NXT. I don't know if that's true or not.
I have no idea.
I saw a clip on that, though. That'd be quite the turn of events for him, getting fired from TNA and swept up by WWE.
Yeah. He used to make all those trips from Canada going to Atlanta TV because he had a good vehicle. He had some money and he was dependable. The main thing is he was always dependable. And he did very well for himself in this business.
Bobby Lopez says he's at work watching with no volume. Put me over. It's tough. If we put you over, you can't hear us anyway.
Now, who's that?
Bobby Lopez in green.
Okay, Bobby Lopez in green. He's at work watching, so I guess
with no volume.
Okay,
so I don't.
We know any hand signals. We know this hand signals. Bobby, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, Bobby. Okay, it was past 30 seconds or the first 30 seconds of the show, so we can do that.
Who had the best claw move? Blackjack Mulligan, Fritz Von Erich, or Baron Von Raschke?
Oh my God!
I'll throw in Steel Man in there.
Well, he had the steel claw.
The steel claw.
Yeah. Now, let me see now. Baron Von Raschke, Jesus Christ. I'd see him when I was a kid. Little did you know that he was James Raschke, All-American wrestler from the University of Nebraska. The Baron, ladies and gentlemen. And I went to one of them conventions and the Baron was there and I wouldn't talk to him because I didn't want to ruin it. I wanted to keep me like a little 10-year-old kid seeing Baron Von Raschke. He's awesome.
So are you going to say which one you thought had the better claw?
Okay, let me see.
I guess I didn't know Blackjack Mulligan did the claw.
Yeah, he did the claw, but he always had the glove on.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
So they didn't look as good. But you always see when I grew up watching Lanza and Mulligan with Heenan, the evil Blackjacks against Dick the Bruiser. So that was awesome. But then Mulligan was usually a babyface in the Carolinas. For those of you that don't know, that's Barry Windham's dad, and Kendall Windham's dad, and Barry Windham was about 195 pounds when he started.
Did we ever talk about Wheeling, West Virginia today? I know we talked about you having kids out of West Virginia.
Not in Wheeling.
Any Wheeling, West Virginia stories?
I worked in Wheeling. I remember. I think it was. I don't know if that's Wheeling or Charleston, where I was supposed to work with Tommy Rich, and he passed out. He was drunk. They couldn't wake him up, so Buzz Sawyer come out, and I had to work with Buzz Sawyer.
Urias Tosh might Be from Wheeling. You want to know about Wheeling?
Okay.
That's the Blue Chew guy. He wants me to take Blue Chew pills.
Well, he must have heard about you.
Must have.
Oh.
Must have heard of my impotence.
Well, you know that thing's worked a couple times. You got little couple of violent couple little clones down there that are outrunner girls.
Laylo in the house. Maybe Laylo's a new listener. Shout out to the Hustler, Absolute Gentleman, and Total Pro. Guy, you have Laylo fooled. Happy Hog.
I must owe him money.
Hogmana, y'all. Hogmana? Hogmanay? What is that?
I don't know.
Is this something I don't know about?
I don't know. But he said y'all, so he must got a hillbilly in there like me. Hill and Billy. That's
what else we got, Rip? Anything else we need to plug? I'll take any more super chats. We get more super chats come in here. Anything else to plug? What have we forgot? We got your favorite son.
you got Dylan. You
Throw
got
that
Dylan
up there
Bostic
again.
show.
Favorite son, Dylan Bostic. All our worldwide listeners will be in Columbus, Indiana here tomorrow. You get your plane ticket tonight. You can be here tomorrow to see Dylan Bostic at West 750 West 200 South Columbus, Indiana, at the fairgrounds.
We talked about Rod Brooks, former Indianapolis Colt, how he's the king and the head trainer at Anytime Fitness on Pendleton Pike, and how he gets all this shit with his birthday, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's, etc. I'm jealous, motherfucker.
We haven't sold a shirt in a while. Nobody bought any shirts for Christmas, apparently. Go buy a Wrestling with Rip Rogers shirt or any of the other Rip Rogers shirts on the Rip Rogers ProWrestlingTees.com.
Don't be afraid to buy my. Hey, I got a new book coming out, so still got the old one on sale, but the new one, I think we're going to have the audio thing, and it's going to be in a like this with paperback with different pictures, 50 to 80 extra fucking pages in it, and there was something else I can't remember. The audio, the hard copy instead of the paperback thing.
Drew Wilson says, how much is the shirt? I don't remember. 20. I think he's got a couple on there for $19.99 and a couple for like $22.99. You just got to go to ProWrestlingTees.com. George Essen says, I work stiff, I guess. Vaughn works stiff, I guess. I don't know what that is. He talking on the show today, or is he talking? I don't know what he's talking. What are you talking about, George Jetson? Don't know what you're talking about. Drew Wilson's going to try to make it to the Big Dylan Bostic show.
Where's he coming from?
I don't know. He had a Martinsville question earlier. Martinsville, maybe. I thought he was from Indianapolis. What else you got, Rip? Got anything else?
Do I got anything else?
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Got anything you need to plug?
No, I don't need nothing to plug.
I just know the Outrunners are over. Nick Wayne's over. Mama Wayne's over. I love Tony Khan, so it don't get any better than that.
Oh, he said he's talking Blue Chew. I think he's talking I work stiff. I think it's a joke, maybe. Did you get the okay from Eddie Graham to use the name Rip Rogers?
Frankie King gave it to me. Yeah, Eddie Graham, Eddie Gossett. He was the original Rip Rogers in Texas in 1955, but Frankie Kane saw me and working for George and Gil Colkin in Mississippi in 79, and he said, "You're Rip Rogers. You remind me of Eddie Graham." So I said, "Well, that's good." So that's how that come about. So,
oh shit, I do have an announcement. I almost forgot. Rip, got to figure out next week. I got my guys trip next weekend. Every year we go to Brown County for the wild card weekend playoffs. You get any chance you can do this show on Thursday at this time next week?
probably can.
Can you stay awake that long?
I don't know. We'll see.
Forgot all about that. How about Thursday? Thursday at noon? Would that work, Rip? Noon?
I guess so. You just got to remind me. I'll forget you.
Well, I'd like to announce if we could while we have 42
Yeah, I'll just go ahead.
people
and
on here.
it,
I mean, I know.
Yeah, I'll forget it anyway.
But you think you can make that? I mean, would
Yeah.
that work?
That's
Thursday, next week, then, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news Thursday, next week, Thursday.
awesome. Thursday at noon, ladies.
So it'll be
and gentlemen.
Thursday the 9th at 12 p.m. Eastern, noon Eastern, next Thursday, not Friday. Thursday, not Friday, next week. Wrestling with Rip Rogers live.
It don't get any better. You was on fire today. We was
The
on
head
fire
bob.
today.
Thirsty Thursday, Dave said. That's right. Everybody get drunk. Thirsty Thursday.
Thursday.
Wrestling with Rip Rogers live. All right, welcome back. Thanks for coming back, I guess. Oh, shoot, I forgot all the super chatters. Shane Parks, baby. Jack Does Horror. Drew Wilson. John Tucker. Jack Does Horror again. Sergeant Mitch, a bunch of times. Drew Wilson, John Tucker, keeping this show alive today.
Somebody got to do
We
it.
appreciate all that super chats that came in today. Help us get this show on the road one more week with those fantastic super chats. Wish everybody a happy new year out there, Rip.
Oh, yeah, it is a new year.
New year, 2025.
Yeah, I was in the gym when New Year's come about. Training. I made sure I was awake there and told everybody else was late. They was lazy ass. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Everybody else was out getting laid, and you were in the gym.
Oh, was you?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Was you getting late?
Oh, everybody was.
Every